firstborn son who did what? I stayed home. I didn't do anything bad. I was a good child. And that rascal is back. And you loving on him and treating him all nice and partying till you drop with him. And what's the problem with this? So we're going to look at the lost son too, the revealing of the firstborn. There must be something that firstborn didn't know. And I'm starting out in Numbers 3. And of course y'all know, this ain't going to be long for me. Numbers 3, verse 13. Because all the firstborn are mine. And this is Yahweh talking. On the day that I struck the firstborn in the land of Mizraim, I set apart to myself all the firstborn in Israel, both man and beast, they are mine. I am Yahweh. So this one is going to be about what? What the firstborn did not know, what he didn't understand, because I'm sure he knew it. He's Hebrew, so he had to understand some of this. So it doesn't matter if he got upset with what? The son that got stuck in the pig trough. What was the important thing about that? That son had enough sense to come home. But here now we're dealing with a son that never even left. But he's angry. I was here all the time. So one thing that we learned from that first story was, what did the daddy do? He took off running to meet that son. That's my boy. He's home. And what did he tell the oldest boy? He was lost. He was dead to me because he was gone. He walked out on his blessing. He took his little blessing and he ran off and lived in riotous living. But what did that son do? He ran out. He had the servant. He had the villagers that were going to do what? They was going to stone that boy if he came home, if they caught him. But that father ran out to meet that son. So what is it when we look at Luke 15 that we begin to see? Luke 15. Verse 25, and his older son was in the field, and when he came and approached the house, he heard music and dancing. And having called one of the servants, he asked what this meant. And he said to him, your brother has come, and your father has slaughtered the fattened calf because he received him back in health. How many times sometimes our kids walk away, we don't get them back in health. In the 1980s, there was a disease out called HIV. A lot of parents did not get their children back in health. Even before that, because we had started living so loose, a lot of times families did not get their children back in health. If it was not a physical thing, sometimes the mental breakdown of a child, of all they had gone through, would cause children to break down. And remember, this is part of the curse. Yahweh said, your eyes, because of the things that you see, this is going to drive you wild. It's going to cause madness. So a lot of us end up with madness in the family because we can't believe how we're being treated over here. We can't believe things that are happening in the family. Incest, another thing that came down through us. Mom and dad not getting along together. A lot of stuff is happening in the homes now. So brother is looking at this. He's like, wait a minute. Did he leave here? Take his money that my daddy worked for and walk off and go and spend it any kind of way? So he talks to the servant lets him know what has happened. And it says, and he was wroth and would not go in. So his father came out, the dad came out and pleaded with this son. How many of you know that Yeshua sent us a Savior to plead with us? Yahweh said what about how he played with us? I sent my servants and you killed them. I pleaded with you to get your life together and you wouldn't do it. So here it is, and we've got a parable over in the Brit Hadashah that talks about the farmer, the landowner who had some land and lent it out. And guess what the people did? They saw the first person come, they killed him. The next person came, they killed him, representing the prophets. Finally he said, I'll send my son. Surely they won't do this to him. But they said, here comes the heir. Guess what we need to do? Kill him. Hallelujah. So he was wroth. He would not go in. Now what's the problem with that? It says that, so his father came out and pleaded with him, and answering, he said to his father, see, these many years I have been serving you, and I have never transgressed the command of yours. But to me you have never given a young goat, so I could rejoice with my friends. Now let's look at the first thing. He was in the field. Field is G68, so we know that's Greek. That's a Greek word, field. And it says, is a field as a drive, generally the country, specifically a farm, that is a hamlet, country, farm, a piece of ground, land. So this brother was out there working the land, because that's what they were. They were farmers. Noah was a farmer. Abraham was a cattle farmer, even though he had a lot of cattle. Well, he had a lot of cattle. So Abraham was a farmer. Most of our ancestors worked the land. So this brother was out there working the land. Now the other thing it says, G68 breaks down to the word G32. And G32 is a messenger. This brother was a preacher. He wasn't just a regular farmer. I mean, because you think about it, he's tilling the ground, but he's also breaking up that fallow ground that's in the hearts of people. So you got an angry preacher out there that don't even know he's angry. This brother is mad. You know, so you trying to help the families wherever they are, keep them working, and you got issues in your own heart. So it says the elder brother, like his dad and like many of the dads of Israel prior to him, was a tiller of the ground, bringing forth food from the ground. Could he possibly have been charged with breaking up the fallow ground of the hearts of the people of Israel? What are a few characteristics being revealed in the heart of this brother? So one thing we know, he was angry. It said he was wroth. That is H599, and the word is anaf. It is aleph, noon, and noon sophie. Anaf, and it's a primitive root to breathe hard. That is, he was enraged, he was angry, he was displeased. How dare they let that N-word back in the house? What are you letting back in there for? So what it really means with the Hebrew word is his nose was flaring. You know, when we get mad, we flare up. So how could dad do this? And the problem with anger is what? When you are wroth, when you're angry, the flaring of the nose, it says this brother wouldn't even go in the house. How about the house is a place that you're safe in? He was the oldest son. He was the elder son. He was the priest of the house. He was charged with what? With the safety of the people. Because his father had already divided them up. I said he divided up, but how many of you know it's not like we think about division? Because that's what I thought about. It's not half and half. This brother was a priest. He was the oldest son. The oldest son got how much? He got double. Whatever the other one got, he got more. He also got more responsibility because he's taking over the father's authority in the house. How about Yahweh gives us the authority to walk his word out. And when we walk that word out, guess what? Good things happen for us. So he was wrong. He wouldn't even go in the house. And the house was like a what? An ark. It's a place of safety. See that ark back there? And guess what happens? You see all those animals around the ark? But the word of God says whole creation, the whole creation is waiting on us to get in a place where we are the sons of Elohim, because the whole creation is waiting on us because it's messed up. But here this brother is angry, won't go in. I'm mad. He wasted all his money, but yet he was here this whole time and did not realize the benefits of what was there for him, the inheritance that he was walking away from himself. Now here's some words related to prodigal. And I'm going to drop down to big-hearted. bountiful, charitable, free-handed, free-hearted, generous, lavish, liberal, munificent. Never heard of that one before. Open-handed, open-hearted, philanthropic, unsparing. This sounds like Yahweh. So here's this father. He's giving everything to both of these sons. This prodigal sounds more like the daddy than it does sound of either of his sons. One walked off, spent everything. The other one couldn't enjoy what he had because he was busy worried about what the younger brother did. I have never left this house. I have never done anything but follow your commands. Why didn't he do something? Why didn't he live his life? Yahweh still gave him a life to live. He chose not to do it. Let's look at words related to prodigal, which I just did. Descriptive words relate more to the Father and our Heavenly Father, more so than the sons. Take a look at what was given to each son. To the youngest son was given those things that have importance in this world. Things given to a foolish person who may lack insight and is short-sighted, myopic, meaning I kind of got tunnel vision. I only see one thing, and that's what I want to do. But the father trusted him with his stuff anyway. His son, take what's yours and go ahead on out into the world. And the great thing about this father, not only did he do that for the youngest son, but he was there waiting for him. He was also there for the older son when the older son came and made this great admission of, I'm hurt, Dad. I can't believe you did this. And what did the father say? Going back to Luke 15. How did I get back to Luke 5? He said, son, all that I have was yours. There is nothing here that was not yours. And so he's telling the son this. Hold on, y'all. I lost my Luke 5, Luke 15. There we go. So going back to 15:29 and answering, he said to his father, see, these many years I have been serving you, and I have never transgressed a command of yours. But to me you have never given a young goat, so I could rejoice with my friends. Now when I look at what the dad cooked for this young man, guess what he did? That was a fattened calf. It sounds like an ascending offering. Sounds like this father was trying to cover this son and all that he had done, the filth that he waddled in. He gave him a fattened calf. He also gave him a goat, which is for the sin offering. This father was covering everything, doing what the sons could not do for themselves. And he had to let this son realize this. You know, he was gone, he was dead, but you have always been here. But when that son of yours came, who has devoured your livelihood with unsavory women, you slaughtered the fattened calf for him. Then he said to him, son, you are always with me, and all I have is yours. And we had to rejoice and be glad, for your brother was dead and is alive, and was lost and is found. So basically, what did the young son find, the elder son find out? He found out what he should have known. That he did not have to go anywhere. He could have gone somewhere had he wanted to. But he was priest of the family, the things that he got because he was firstborn. He got a double portion. A double portion. And that double portion, yes, it was to help with whatever the family might need. He got the wisdom because he'd been taught the Torah about how to walk out the truth of the word. As a leader in Israel, it was expected that this man would counsel many others. So he had a big responsibility. He inherited the judicial authority of his daddy. That Torah was passed down to the son, and he had to pass the judicial, the law down to his son. All right, so Genesis 43 and 33. And they set before him the firstborn according to his birthright. Now this is Joseph. You remember Joseph when he set his brothers down to talk to them? How did Joseph line them up? According to the firstborn. This brother was firstborn according to his birthright. And the youngest according to his youth. That other son, he was still a youth. But the younger one should have known better. And the men looked at each other in astonishment. Now that was his brothers. Next verse is Genesis 49:3. This is the strength of the firstborn son especially. But we're seeing now that we women are firstborn also. Reuben, he's calling out Reuben, but these are the rights of the firstborn. This is what the firstborn son didn't realize. You are my firstborn, my power, the beginning of my strength, the excellence of exaltation, and the excellency of power. This brother had a lot going on for him. He just did not realize who he was. About the firstborn, Hosea 11:1. When Israel was a child, I loved him, and out of Mizraim I called my son. Israel in scriptures also called the firstborn. Exodus 4:22. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus saith the Lord, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. So this brother was in good company, in good character. Israel has to wake up and realize who she is or who he is. Psalm 89:27. Also, I will make him my firstborn, higher than the king of the earth. Now who is he talking about here? He's talking about Yeshua. So there is a line of firstborns that this brother, well, I don't even know if he knew about Yeshua at that time. I just assume because he's in the New Testament or in the Brit that he knew about it. Jeremiah 31:9. They shall come with weeping and with supplications will I lead them. I will cause them to walk by the rivers of waters in a straight way wherein they shall not stumble. For I am a father to Israel, and Ephraim is my firstborn. This is Yahweh talking through the prophet Jeremiah, how he feels about Israel. And this father could feel no less for his firstborn. Rights of the firstborn. Now their firstborn has rights. Deuteronomy 21:15. When a man has two wives, one loved and the other unloved, and they have borne him children, both the loved and the unloved, and the firstborn son is of her who is unloved, then it shall be on the day he makes his sons to inherit his possession, he is not allowed to treat the son of the beloved wife as firstborn in the face of the son of the unloved, who is truly the firstborn. But he is to acknowledge the son of the unloved wife as the firstborn by giving him a double portion of all that he has. For he is the beginning of his strength. The right of the firstborn is his. This brother did not realize who he was or what he had just because he was a firstborn. He couldn't just say, now that's the baby's mama and leave that one out there. He had to take care of that firstborn. 2 Chronicles 21:3. And their father gave them many gifts of silver and gold and precious items, which with walled cities in Yehuda. But he had given the reign to Jehoram because he was the firstborn. This is Jehoshaphat's son. So when he died, the reign, and this is part of the firstborn, when the father dies, the reign goes to the first son unless he gives it to him before he dies. But it's the firstborn that gets all of this. So the father says, all that I have, you have. There's nothing that you're lacking, son. Romans 8:28 brings us to who is the firstborn that we look to. And we know that all matters work together for good to those who love Elohim, to those who are called according to his purpose. Because those whom he knew beforehand, he also ordained beforehand to be conformed to the likeness of his son, for him to be the firstborn among many brethren or brothers. Romans 8:30, and when he ordained, and whom he ordained beforehand, these he also called, and whom he called, These he all declared right. And whom he declared right, these he also esteemed. We are esteemed in Yeshua HaMashiach. Hallelujah, because he is the firstborn. What did he do? He rose from the dead, the firstborn among many brothers. Ooh, I can't see that. Proverbs 4:1. Now, I'm thinking this brother, this dad was a Hebrew father, and I'm sure he was a Hebrew father. So more than likely, he taught his children Proverbs 4:1. This would have been, he would have taught it to them literally so they could speak it, or he would have had them sing it out, you know. But the principles in Proverbs 4:1 are the principles that he would have wanted those children to learn wherever they went, whatever situation they got themselves into. Because truly, this is one of the Proverbs, and Proverbs always bring you back home. Children, listen to the discipline of a father. Give attention to no understanding. For I gave you good instructions. Talking to his sons, I gave you good instructions. Whether the youngest son followed or not, whether the elder son understood it or not, I gave you good instruction. Do not forsake my Torah. What's in the Torah? My commandments. For I was my father's son, tender and the only one in the eyes of my mother. So Solomon is writing this. Then he taught me and said to me, let your heart hold fast my words. Guard my commandments and live. Yeah. Get wisdom, get understanding. Do not forget and do not turn away from the words of my mouth. Do not leave her wisdom. Young man spent all his money and was with all those unsavory women. And guess what they did? They left him. But what does he say? Wisdom will not leave you. Do not leave her and let her guard you. Love her and let her watch over you. The beginning of wisdom is get wisdom. And with all your getting, get understanding. Now this is 27 verses, and I'm not going to go through 27 verses, but I think it would be pretty interesting to read, because this is the foundation I'm sure that he put his sons through. He taught his sons the foundation of this. Watch over your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the sources of life. You know, we heard the issues of life, but in our reading now, the sources of life, whatever you do in life comes out of the Torah. Turn away from you a crooked mouth. Watch what you say. You know, if it's not life-giving, if it is not healthy, you know, watch what you say. Turn away from you a crooked mouth and put perverse lips far from you. Let your eyes look forward and your eyelids look straight before you. Many times where we look at in the past, oh, my feelings got hurt, somebody said something to me. Now I know this because I was a child that kept looking in the past, my feelings hurt. Forget your feelings. Look forward, believe Yahweh, trust his word. Because looking in the past will get you stuck. Consider the path of your feet, and all your ways are established. Do not turn to the right or the left. Turn your foot away from evil. Yahweh has given us a choice in this world, to live or to die. To live or to die. And it's by our own choices. It's not generally somebody else's fault. Maybe that, you know, somebody said or did something that they shouldn't have said. But many times we are where we are because of our own choices. Come on. Oh, I'm right back to the but anyway, the idea was for the elder son. That's right. The elder son. How did he get to where he was? What did he not understand? He did not understand his inheritance, the priesthood that he inherited just by being born into Israel. We are in a great nation, a great nation. Israel is a great nation. Our culture is awesome. Yes. Awesome. What God has given. He's given us his word. He's given us a surety that what he has said he will bring to pass. He said he'd never leave us nor forsake us. We're not by ourselves. We're not alone. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
song that says this: our God is awesome. He can move mountains. Keep me in the valley. Hide me from the rain. Come on, our God is awesome. He heals me when I'm broken.